what we're going to be doing now is creating a variable that you can use in your original poem that you created. Hopefully, when you did this poem, you managed to put in the correct information so that you got rid of the syntax error and you got the information to be displayed on the debug area at the bottom. Now what we're going to show you is how you can use a variable and have a little bit of fun with this. So we're going to click on File and New, and we're going to save this before we start doing anything on it as mash2. This is going to say I've already got one, so I'm going to say yes, I'd like to replace that, and it will be quite happy for me to use that. So mash2 is what we're looking at the moment, and what we're going to do is I am going to show you the variable that we're going to use. So you're going to have a little bit of free will here. Our variable that we're using is the variable for the vegetables that we've been looking at in the poem. So we're going to start off with veg equals. We're going to use our speech marks, and you can choose a vegetable that you like. I'm going to choose butternut because it's my favorite. So I've got veg equals butternut. That means that the program, whenever it sees the word veg, will automatically replace that with butternut. Now, a variable is something that can change. So it could be butternut, it could be potato, it could be cauliflower, it could be anything you like. But for now, we'll just stick to butternut. Okay, so veg equals butternut. I'm going to go on to a new line, and I'm going to paste in the poem which you did in the first exercise, showing the words that you should have used and also the brackets and speech marks that you should have used to get it to show up down in the debug area. Okay, so just to explain how this is going to work, I'm just going to click on Save, and I'm going to get that to run. And down here, this is what you should have seen at the end of your first part of the challenge. Okay, so mashed potatoes on the ceiling, green beans on the floor, stewed tomatoes in the corner, squash upon the floor. Now, if I have a little bit of fun here and I replace the word potatoes with veg, which is my variable, then I'm going to be able to get it to change down here. But what I have to do is I have to make sure that the program knows what is a string and what is a variable. So to define a string, it will always start off with inverted commas, either single or double. Whatever you start off with, you need to finish off with. So if you start with a single speech mark, then it needs to finish with a single speech mark. I've got doubles, so I'm going to have a double after the word mashed, because this is a string. I have to have a comma after the speech marks to show that there is something else happening in my program. After the word veg, which is my variable, we then move on to, again, the string. So I'm going to put in another comma and speech marks to separate veg from the string. Okay, hopefully that makes sense to you. So we've got our string, our variable, and our string again. Now, if my program works correctly, the word veg will be replaced with the word butternut. So I'm going to save this. I'm going to click on Run. And down at the bottom here, we now have mashed butternut on the ceiling. So that's worked out an absolute treat for me. That's exactly what I expected to have happen. Okay, so what I would like you to do, please, is I would like you to replace the rest of the vegetables that we have in here, even though that one's a fruit, the rest of the variables in here with the word veg, so that it comes up with a poem that sounds and looks a little different. Make that happen for me, please.